Hey everybody, I wanted to send out this video this week to talk a little bit about the Bible immersion journey starting in about a month. And the books are in. I'm excited. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, you can come down to the Healing Rooms and pick it up. And if you're not local, we will ship it to you. So I'm happy how it turned out. It's exciting. So I wanted to explain a little bit about how this works. So we have 4 modules for this whole year. Each of them are 13 weeks. Module number 1, I'm kind of thinking of it like a boot camp. So here's the book for it. And on day 1, you will write down what you read. And then there's a little space provided if you have something you came across that you want to study later. Because I've learned from experience, those who go through this, trying to read in 3 months, who stop to study, they're never going to do it. So don't stop to study, just write down, and then later you can go back and study what you wanted to. Because this first 13 weeks is to read through and get the whole story. You know, in the past, when I would read the Bible through every year, I would start in Genesis on day 1, and then also on day 1, a little bit of Matthew, then a Psalm and a proverb, which is good. Getting the word in you is good. But by the time the year was over, you kind of forget about what happened at the beginning. And plus you're reading about, for instance, Moses, and then all of a sudden you're back with Jesus, and which is good because it's all one story, but it became a little bit disjointed. And so a few years ago, I read through the Bible in 3 months, and from Genesis through Revelation, it just made everything make so much more sense, and it just flowed, and I loved it. And then in 2019, I felt the Lord nudge me a little bit to read through the Bible once a month for a year. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, I can't do that. But 2020 turned out to be kind of a crazy year, and I was so happy I did it. So I read through the Bible from Genesis through Revelation in January, again in February, March, and so on. And I read it 12 times in 2020. And you know what that did to me? It just did something I can't even describe, something deep inside of me where I fell in love with His Word even more. And so reading it through in 3 months is really doable. But if you're not a reader and it seems like a stretch, the good thing about this is, so you're going to finish module 1, which is reading. Module 2 is going to be, we're going to go back and reread the New Testament. So if you didn't get to finish it in module 1, no problem. If you get behind, just continue on in module 2. And module 2 is, we're going to stop and we're going to meditate. So we start out actually with Psalm 23, and we're going to spend 7 days on Psalm 23, and we're going to meditate, and we're going to go deep. And it's not a huge, big study, but I have spaces for you to record what you've studied, what the Lord spoke to you. So module 1, read from Genesis through Revelation, if you can. If you can't, module 2, start up wherever you left off. And if in the 6 months, you're still having a hard time reading through, you can take the whole year, because module 3 is we're going to go back and read Psalms and Proverbs again. So you can just pick up where you left off. But module 3 is so exciting. It's an overview of the Old Testament. And we're going to start with creation. Of course, good place to start in the beginning. And then we're going to go through the Old Testament. Now, it's not like a theological treatise. It's more of a flyover and then look and land on certain points of interest. So there's a lot of scholarship out there for you to dig into if you want to study more. This is more of an overview. And then with the New Testament, we're going to do the same thing. We'll go through the life of Jesus, some of the disciples, and the book of Acts, and just different things, and focus on those for 13 weeks. At the end of 1 year, you will have read through the entire Bible at least once, at least one time. You will have read through the New Testament possibly 2 or 3 times, and you will have read through Psalms and Proverbs twice. And if you take the 12-month approach, you will have read through the whole Bible. And you will have stopped and meditated and chewed on certain scriptures. You will have an overview of God's story, of the covenants, of how He's a covenant-keeping God, of how He deals with those who are His and those who are not His, how He deals with those who are His who are obedient, and those who are his who are disobedient. And then in the New Testament, we will look at some of the miracles of Jesus and the disciples, and we'll just look at different parts of the New Testament, and we'll follow the story of God all the way through from Genesis through Revelation. So my heart and my prayer for you for this year, as you start on January 1st for this one. Oh, and another thing, if you don't start January 1st, if you hear about this a couple months into it, anywhere you start is going to be good. You'll get the emails that come weekly, and so you're good to start whenever. But the first group will start on January 1st. You will get one email with a 3 or 4 minute video every Monday for the entire year, just to keep you spurred on and to encourage you to stay. So I'm excited. It's going to be a great year. You're going to love this workbook. The Lord has just put together some things. I'm excited about it. So again, thanks for joining, and I look forward to next year together.